Hello, this is Live Prepper here, the World of Joan, and I want to talk to you women out there, and even the men. But the fact is SHTF is all around us, whether it's in small doses or large doses. As I've talked about the water situation and other events that's happened, floods, hurricanes, the climate change and things. Women more and more of them are living in apartments and things. More and more of them are, once their husband passes away or they go through a divorce, or once their kids are grown and out the door, they're by themselves. So what are you going to do in a situation, a SHTF situation? You need to start thinking about that. You need to think about prepping some. And I'm not saying go out there and get like on those doomsday preppers on the shows. I'm not telling you go out and buy you 500 guns. I'm not telling you to become a G.I. Jane. What I'm telling you is you need to start thinking about prepping some stuff up to have on hand. Water, food, first aid supplies, extra coats, extra blankets, extra socks, shoes that you need, boots, whatever. The thing is, you don't know what's going to be out there. You don't know what's going to happen. And you need to think about securing your apartment even more. What kind of door do you have on your house? Is it a solid door? Is it a door full of glass? Even my house needs a great deal of prepping to it. When I can afford it, I want to have bars put on my windows, or maybe the portable shutters or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to have put on it, but I want something to secure my house even more. So I have to think about that. Think about investing in plywood, putting it up in the basement or whatever, having it stored. Fix up support things for your doors. Believe it or not, a 2x4, if you turn around and fix the 2x4 up with a stopper to it and put it down at the bottom of your door, it is going to slow someone down from getting into your home. You need to think about this. You need to think about how you're going to survive, what you're going to do. Now, everybody's going to say, they're saying, you know what, the government's going to take care of us. But if you look time and time again, the government can only do so much. And then you've got the organizations that comes in to help. They have to get to you first. If it is flooded, if it is an earthquake happen or whatever, you've seen on it where they've had to dig through tons and tons of stuff to get to people. And not everybody got saved. And the same way with the food and water situation. How many of them got, was in this situation where they had no food or water at all? New York has never been threatened with floods or hurricanes or anything like that. But what if it does happen? How many of these people are living along the coastlines and they don't have nothing prepared? Women need to become preppers. And the simple reason is because men and your children and other people is going to count on you as well as you need to count on yourself. And you're just thinking I'm kind of crazy on this, but it's the truth. We have to have some common sense about ourselves. We need to get those books out. We need to learn how to make our own ointments, how to make our own salves, how to make our own herb teas, what plants to raise to feed us with, which ones we can dry. We need to learn all this stuff as we get more mature, especially the mature women out there. As you're living by yourself, you need to start thinking outside the box. I have some friends of mine, and they run to the store every couple of days. They think I'm crazy because I do all this stuff. But you know what? I was sick today. I've been sick the last couple of days. And I was sweating from a fever and everything. And I made me up a herbal remedy of my own of all these plants and stuff that I harvest. And the sweat came pouring out. And my fever broke. I want to tell you what. I didn't have the money to go to the store and buy across-the-counter medicine. I just didn't have it. I do good to get from point A to point B and hope my gas don't run out. So the herbs that I've collected, and if you'll check my other videos out, you'll see, made a difference. I brewed me up some Joe Pye plant, and I did some goldenrod, and I throw some cinnamon in there, and then I throw some peppermint in there. So I made a mixture of this here. All this was beneficial. Peppermint is good for my stomach. Cinnamon is good to help with my sugar and my blood pressure when I'm feeling really bad. The Joe Pye is good for fevers and colds and stuff, because Joe Pye Used the Joe Pye plant, which is named after him, which it has other names, for rheumatic fever to cure it. So, that's what I'm saying is. And the goldenrod is an anti-allergy. And I also put in it with some plantain that grows out in my yard. The plantain is an antibacterial. I throw it in there. And then I throw some creeping Charlie also that was good for pain and some other issues. Because my head just felt like it was going to explode. But this is because I have taken time to learn this stuff. So women out there needs to learn how to take care of themselves. Quit being dependent on the stores. Quit being dependent on you thinking your man's going to take care of you. You need to step up to the plate and learn how to take care of yourself, because you don't know what's going to happen. If shtf has happened worldwide, or even on a smaller scale per country, more and more countries are getting away from their original ways. More and more people are not remembering. The younger people are more interested in moving to town, to the cities. They're not learning the older ways. A lot of that's being lost. So you know what? If you got some books or whatever belong to your grandmother, your great-grandmother, whatever, pull them out. Go to the library. Start looking at things around. Start listening to nature. Start thinking about prepping your stuff up. And if you live in an apartment, get you a couple 5-gallon buckets. Raise you a couple tomato plants. I had 2 tomato plants this year. My tomato plants grow to be 6 foot tall. And I did it organic. I raised sugar beets, and some of my sugar beets was as much as 3 pounds. Through trial and error. So women need to start prepping. Women need to start teaching themselves how to put things up, how to prepare themselves, whether it's in self-defense. We're not as grown as men, so we have to use our brains. We have to use our knowledge. We have to use our talent. So you have to think outside the box. Start researching. Start looking at your house different and what you can do. These here, I would have to put plywood up on these things. I would have to hammer them down. Then I would have to put a support thing. I would need to have basically a designated room that I could reinforce and secure, like one of those panic rooms they talk about. And hopefully that I could survive. But I would have to make sure I have food and water and things you need. Then you're going to have to think about, okay, it's happened. You have no water. Okay. Your refrigerator's gone. All your food you put up in your freezer is gone. It's bad. Poof. So yeah, there you are. You have no water. You have no food because of that. You only have a few canned goods left. And how long do you think that's going to last? Then you got to think about who out there is going to take it from you. Now, if you're in a community group and y'all work together, that is great. But then you're going to have to think about that. Then you need to think about where you're going to put your extra food at. You know, I bring home these little buckets home from work that has the lids on them. And I've got them labeled, but I put up some dry beans. I put up instant rice. I put up instant oats and stuff in them. And I put them up in different places. So that way I can have them. The thing is that you've got to put it in different places, and you don't need to really make it obvious. Believe it or not, that 5-gallon bucket of instant oats is going to get me through for a bit. Am I going to get tired of it? You doggone right I'm going to get tired of it. But at least there'll be some food. That dry beans is going to do it. Now, have you thought about catching rainwater? Have you even considered setting yourself up for a way to catch rainwater? And do you have jugs for it? You got to think about all that. How are you going to filter your water? Do you have an idea? Do you keep iodine on hand? I've got a big bottle of iodine I keep. Some people want to keep bleach. Do you have a filter system for that? How much knowledge do you know how? Do you have stuff to build fire? Do you know how to create heat in your house to keep you warm? Do you have extra candles? Women, think about this stuff, especially all of us that's living by ourselves, or even if we're not living by ourselves. We need to think about this stuff. Your man might not want to prep. Don't mean you can't. Don't mean you can't think about putting up extra stuff. Don't mean you can't put it somewhere up in a closet somewhere out of the way. Don't mean you can't fix up a pandemic kit or whatever. Doesn't mean you can't fix up a storage container filled with stuff. Just rotate it out from time to time. Make sure you got several days worth of food. So, SHTF, women, start prepping. Get off your buns. Start thinking about it. Start reading. Start studying. Start thinking about it. Because I did. I knew I had to get back to it. I knew. I looked at everything going on around me. And if it wasn't for the herbs I've harvested, I wouldn't be talking to you right now because I was really sick. And I didn't have to go to the doctor because my herbs made me feel better. So, from the world of Joan, live prepper here, telling you women, start prepping. And think about it. Because what's going to happen if that day does come and there's no water and there's no food and you're not secure in your home? What are you going to do? And what kind of shape are you? Every day I have to think about that. I'm not the best physical shape, but I'm a survivor. So are you? Are you a survivor? If you are, start thinking outside the box. Women, start prepping.